right, everybody, so welcome back. So we do have in studio right now Sergeant Ancil Forde, TTPS Media Ambassador. Mr. Forde, always good to see and speak with you. What do you have for us today?
Pleasant morning, Marlon.
Yes.
Pleasant morning, Trinidad Tobago. It's nice to be here. Marlon, on one of our last segments, we spoke about, vigilante justice,
Yes.
right? And we advised members of the public to not to go that way, all right?
Okay.
And we advised them in terms of the Criminal Law Act and their powers and so forth. Now,
but wait, before you move on,
Sure.
what do you define as vigilante justice?
all right, it is where you dispense justice in the sense that you feel that you are judge, jury, and executioner, right? And in order for us to understand that here, why is it is that we encourage community partnerships, all right? And part of the Commissioner's operating plan is the strengthening of community partnerships. On this particular occasion, we want to look at the issue of watch groups, all right? As opposed
Sergeant, you didn't answer my question. I see your smile. But you see, he's such a classy man. He doesn't want to say what vigilante justice is. So when you cuff a man and you burst his mouth and you bust up his head, and then you take a cutlass and you plan-ass him, and then you tie him up and then you drag him. So it's things like that.
But then,
you would term vigilante justice,
so
right?
then, Marlon, you didn't need to ask me the question.
Right? And when you restrain him, you still beat him.
Marlon, you are correct, right? So why is it that I said when you dispense justice,
Right.
right? Right. So you give perfect examples, and
Yes.
that is what we want to discourage.
All right. Go
Right?
ahead.
Yes. So in terms of us strengthening community partnerships, we are looking at the issue of community watch groups, and there are a lot of positives in relation to community watch groups. Now, one may ask, how do we form a community watch group? There is no, let me say, legislated structure. There isn't any legislation that governs, right? It's more or less the common interest or the desire of persons within a community, and they identify that, let us say, their community would have been affected by crime, be it house break-ins, robberies, or any sort of criminal activity that affects them. And in addition to the support from the police, they organize themselves and say, let us form a watch group, right? So you have neighborhood watch groups, and what we want to do is simply explain, right, the best approach towards taking it, right? So having that common interest, right, a person from within that group or that community, that person more or less identifies, or persons identify that person as the representative, all right? And they embark upon, let us say, meeting with one another, all right? Informal meeting, just to indicate their desire and invite persons to be part of this community watch group, right? Now, the person who is organizing is that person who, let us say, is the focal point and who would coordinate the activity of bringing the persons together. Now, when it is you achieve that, what you would want now is the input from the police. Because, as I mentioned before, why is it that sometimes we have that sort of community response, but it turns out to be a vigilante group? By the police involvement now, we are able to help you to structure it properly, all right? To give you advice in relation to the laws and how best to, let us say, approach the whole issue of the community watch. So the police, we attend the meeting. Is more now a more structured, more formal meeting where it is we identify what is your particular problem within the community, right? Whether it is that there's a lot of break-ins, all right? All right. So then we advise you according to the law, and then we help you now to coordinate the activity. Now, the watch group is self-sustained in the sense that obviously, you may want to look at the issue of signage, right? Which is a deterrent because it informs would-be criminals that there is a community watch group, right? Which can be a deterrent. So then it would be signage. Next thing is in terms of what other material or equipment we would need. For instance, surveillance cameras, right? Now, on that note, persons must understand that they cannot simply go and erect cameras on the electricity poles or utility poles there just like that, right?
Yes.
You have to get permission. So separate and apart from that, where it is you all decide that we are going to employ the use of CCTV footage, right, there might be a cost.
Yes.
Again, it is self-sustained, so the persons who are involved will understand what sort of costs they need to meet to set up that sort of equipment. Now, there's advantages to having CCTV footage. One, cameras act as a deterrent to start with, right? And in the event that someone does indeed come into the community and engages in anything illegal, you would have that footage available to assist the police, right?
Yeah. Right. Mr. Forde, just hold on that point for a little while. We must go to a very short break, everybody. We're coming back. Oh boy. All right, everybody. So we are continuing our discussion on the neighborhood watch groups, and we do have with us Sergeant Ancil Forde. Sergeant, you were making a very important point before we went to our break.
Yes. So in terms of, some of the costs has to be borne by persons. We are speaking about the issue of CCTV footage, right?
Yes.
Now, whilst persons may have cameras set up on their particular premises, you live on a street, all right? And the street might be an L street, a certain length. It might be a cul-de-sac, right?
Yes.
It can be a circular, as the case may be. Now, persons have to enter, and they can enter from probably one or two entrances. The ability to have cameras strategically located, all right? Everybody may not be able to afford a camera, but you would be able to capture both entrances, right? So that you can see persons enter and even as the case may be. But in any event, right, it's a good tool to employ with respect to the community watch group. Yes, so by bringing persons together, Marlon, you stand a better chance of designing arrangement that best suits your particular community and the issues that affect you, right? So one, you want to make it more difficult for would-be criminals to gain access. You want to have control, right? As well as to let the would-be criminals recognize that the risk factor to them is higher within your community because of, let us say, your neighborhood watch group.
Yes.
Right. So it is important, Marlon, that whilst it is persons go about to create a watch group, that there must be instant communication, preferably a WhatsApp group, right? Where it is the communication is quick, immediate. The last time I spoke in relation to one-word communication, right? To indicate that there's a threat. So you all will have that sort of discussion where persons understand how we communicate within the group. You made a very valid point, Marlon, that sometimes not everybody within your community you may want within your group for whatever reason. It is important now that in forming that group, you know who are the persons within your community, right?
Who are responsible people.
Responsible people, law-abiding people, right? Persons who would not, let us say, betray
your confidence,
the group and the effort of the group. Yes? Important to know who are the persons, right? Because somebody within the community might be somebody that you really want to watch as opposed to being in your watch group.
True.
Yeah? All right. So identifying the persons to be within that group, and you create a group, you create words that sends a clear understanding. As I say, one word that says a lot of persons will know that there's a threat. Right. And by working together with the police, or the police working together with the watch group, the persons, is a way of strengthening that partnership with the police. Because, for instance, police officers might be within the very said community, right, who may be part of that watch group, or the officers within the station community, right, who in the station within your community might be interested in being a part of the group, right, to lend that support and advice at all times, right, and that would be working towards the effectiveness and the maintenance of the group. Yes? So we can look at the issue of, after you form the group, how do you now maintain the group, right? Beside the group, persons within, let us say, community watch groups can be a part of the bigger picture.
Yeah, Sergeant,
right?
just incidentally, I just have just about 1 minute again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, can be, I want to say, in a bigger environment, a bigger forum, by being part of the station council meeting. So, in addition to being part of the watch group, you're also part of the station council meeting, where you interact directly with the sergeant or the inspector in charge of the station. So they are working hand in hand with you and understand what some of the issues are. Now, it is important, Marlon, that you identify, right, within your community, I want to say hotspots.
Yes.
Yes? The hotspots, because these hotspots encourage persons or elements that you don't want within your community. You also have to take that into consideration in the formation of your watch group. At the end of it, it is about, one, strengthening the community's response, having effective deterrence, being able to maintain the watch group so that it can be effective. The end result is that your community, by its own action, right, helps in the safety and the security of the community by persons coming together with one purpose in mind, which is to maintain a safe space.
Yeah.
Right? And with the police, we would be more than willing to be a part of it and to help persons within the community to develop and to maintain a watch group.
Yeah, Sergeant, it's always good to speak with you. And let's continue the discussion on this, because I still do have a lot of questions and scenarios to throw at you.
Sure, no problem with that.
Yeah, all right, so see you right back here next week.
Yes, indeed.
All right, everybody, we're going to a very short break. We are coming back.
Fantastic Friday.